Hello, it's John Heaton, and we're still outside. It's a windy day here in Budapest. It's stopped raining. I might not be able to continue to do too many of these outside as the weather closes in, but we can do this one. Hope you can hear me above the wind. Today I'm going to review the Buckingham Nicks album from September 1973. And one of the reasons I'm reviewing this, apart from the fact I haven't done it, is because I picked up what I thought was a new vinyl copy of it in Florence, Italy the other day. But in subsequent investigation, I think it was a private pressing, so tantamount to a bootleg, but they've done a nice job. And it was my fault because I should have read private pressing on the label. I want to give a recommendation to this shop, Rock Bottom Records in Florence. Superb shop, better selection of material than even in record stores in London, which is quite amazing, really. So this album, after this album came out, the two of them were later to join Fleetwood Mac and achieve immense success. This album, when it first came out, didn't do too well. This is the back cover, and although it's got definite trademarks of their sound and what would later become the Fleetwood Mac sound, so it's one of those curios which maybe not too many people know about outside the core fan base. They had the luck that Mick Fleetwood happened to be in the studio in Los Angeles when they were recording the album, and he just happened to hear the track Don't Let Me Down Again and thought, what's this? Was introduced to Stevie and Lindsay, and pretty much on the spot by all accounts asked them to join the band, Fleetwood Mac. So I'm going to risk showing you this record, even though it is not an official release. It's on brown vinyl, and interestingly, this album, although it was called Buckingham Nicks, is credited to Nicks and Buckingham, which I hadn't realised before. Maybe you can tell it's a bootleg because it's got Don't Let Me Down Again starting side 2 of this, and Crying in the Night starting side 1. So it plays pretty well, though. I played it when I got back, and it's got the original gatefold sleeve, which is nice, and Waddy Watchell is on guitar, and this shop gives you a little bit of blurb about each album you purchase there, or even if you're looking, but it's in Italian, so I understood bits of it, and I had a friend with me who was Italian who translated various bits and pieces, but it doesn't, not sure if it says unofficial release, but I think it is unofficial. So this album's not even released on CD, so I can't show you that. I can show you my original copy, which is not gatefold, but it's got the song credits and musician credits, and Stevie Nicks is actually spelt Stevi on this album, which is again quite interesting. Jim Keltner is also featured on drums, as well as Ronnie Tutt and Hoppy Hodges. We've got Mark Tulin on bass, and Jerry Sheff also on bass, alongside Lindsey Buckingham playing some bass. Keyboard Peggy Sandvitz, and produced by Keith Olsen, and assistant engineer Richard Dashute, who would both of those guys would go on to work with Fleetwood Mac. So this album starts, I'll go through the original track, the original copy, the official release. It starts off with a superb rocker, Don't Let Me Down Again, Lindsey Buckingham trademark guitar, and harmony vocals from Stevie. And as I say, this is the track which Mick Fleetwood heard and thought was pretty promising as a sound, and they did perform this live on the Fleetwood Mac White Album tour 1975, and the song turned up as a live version on Fleetwood Mac Live 1980 album, but I'm not sure if the version on that album was recorded on the Tusk tour or on the 75 tour, because all it says on the sleeve notes is it's recorded in a place called Passaic, and I'm not even sure where that is. So maybe people can comment out there if they know the live version when it was recorded. I do have a bootleg CD of a 75 Fleetwood Mac concert, and Don't Let Me Down Again is performed on that. So, and then we got Django, which is an instrumental piece written by Lindsay. No, it's this one comes with the words on an insert, and Django is a and it's also on the Polydor label, because it came out on a branch of Polydor, which has since gone bankrupt. And sorry, the wind is going to blow everything away here. And the song Django is written by J. Lewis, John Lewis. But it's an instrumental track. And then we've got Races I Run, which is a big highlight of the album for me. Here, the harmony vocals between Lindsay and Stevie, which were to work so well in the Fleetwood Mac years. Here they're in their kind of first time one has heard that, and they must have known that they had some kind of chemistry there musically, because their voices blend superbly well together on this track. It's a big highlight of the album for me. And then we've got Lola, which is a nice track from Lindsay, and some great acoustic guitar picking work. Frozen Love is a track from Stevie, which is not top drawer but decent. And then moving over to side 2, Crying in the Night is a perfectly creditable Stevie Nicks song. You can tell that her songwriting is developing here and would develop further on the Fleetwood Mac album. Stephanie is a instrumental from Lindsay, and very nice acoustic guitar playing again. Without a Leg to Stand On is trademark Lindsay, upbeat number, and very strong. I really can't understand why this album was not released on CD. I know the couple split up, but by all accounts they're still friends, because they still tour together. So I can't really think of any burning reason why they wouldn't put it out, other than what I read on the web, on the internet, that it was just inertia. So maybe it's just never been top priority. But it would be great, although I do have this new vinyl copy of it, but I wouldn't mind having it on CD. So Without a Leg to Stand On is pretty much top drawer Lindsay. And then we got Crystal from Stevie, which Fleetwood Mac recorded again for the Fleetwood Mac album, and it's a decent Stevie Nicks ballad. Long Distance Winner is written by Stevie, I think. Yep. And so they share the songwriting credits, and I have to say this album stands up and is more or less on the same level songwriting wise as the stuff they did for Fleetwood Mac. Maybe they upped it a notch or two. Stevie came up with Landslide and Rhiannon, and Lindsay would come up with Monday Morning for the first Fleetwood Mac album that they were involved in. So maybe that the songwriting is a little bit stronger, but this is a very creditable album, and I have to say it compares favourably to the recent album Buckingham and McVie, which Lindsay did with Christine, which I had higher hopes for, but it was a little bit disappointing on the whole. This is the better album of those two, if you want to compare them. And if you like Fleetwood Mac, you're going to like this. Those of you who haven't checked it out, do so. It's It's a good little album. Thanks for watching. See you next time.